What's up, TNT family? I'm Justice.
And I'm Mike.
And today we'll be talking about
emotions. Emotions that men deal with, young, old. We all deal with these type of emotions. We're going to be expounding on them in depth.
So get ready for episode 2. Take your pencils, your pens, your notepad out. Take notes. Grab a buddy, grab a guest. Send this to somebody. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. Welcome.
TNT. Let's go.
So, how would you describe yourself emotionally dealing with relationships?
Well, since I grew into my marriage, I had to learn to be mature in certain areas in regards to my emotions. So how I would handle situations, how me and my wife would communicate. I wasn't very mature in the beginning, in the start of it. A lot of things were off impulse. So, but not only that, the emotions that I was dealing with in the time was stemming from underlying issues. So things that I had came into the marriage with. So how I dealt with emotion in the past relationships, the thing is I didn't deal with them. You know what I mean? I was able to, sweep them up under the rug, not deal with them. I didn't give anybody the opportunity to see what emotions I was dealing with. I was able to really put on a facade in regards to my emotions. Now, how I handle different emotions and on an everyday basis of what I was dealing with, I didn't allow it to really affect that person. A lot of times that I can be dealing with things in regards to self, and I'm just like, you know what, I'm a handle it this way. I may revert to fighting, just out of anger. What things I was dealing with, the things that I wasn't able to comprehend, I would reflect of, man, I wish I was able to be taught that. I wasn't taught how to handle my emotions because I wasn't really able to express it, So in relationship, it grew, and I had to understand what the emotion was, why I was dealing with this emotion, why I was feeling angry, why I was feeling low, why I was dealing with just a moment of just the silent treatment, because I wouldn't say anything, but I would allow things to build up, and I would be a ticking time bomb when certain things hit that. Then I'm gonna explode, and people look at me like, whoa, like what's good, or why you handling it like that. As far as my friends, I was able to trust my friends to a certain extent with things. I would pick and choose of what I would share with them because I would know, okay, this is how they would handle the emotion because this is what I'm allowing you to handle it in this manner. You know what I mean? So,
I think me, for the people that know me, on a personal level, they know Justice is a heart on his sleeve type of dude. I wear it, and it's a badge of honor for me. I love being able to show emotion, whether it's charisma, whether it's frustration, anger, whatever the case it is. To know Justice is to love Justice, but if you don't know Justice, it really might be a struggle for you. But I think with friends, I'm the type I will really go the distance for. I don't even think about it, and sometimes that have led me in situations not thinking about it often before, and I didn't really understand the aspect of dealing with emotions with partners because I never really had many. In a sense, at least it wasn't documented. So it really was that case. I really didn't do that because I didn't understand how to really give somebody that part of me. I really didn't understand how to allow them in, and then once you come in, can you stay? Can you handle all of this built up emotion, all of this everything? Can you handle that? What would you do with that? It's like inviting somebody in your house and being like, I gotta trust you not to steal. I gotta trust you not to leave a mess. I really have to trust you, and you not being there. And
I think when you mentioned trust,
Yeah.
that's for me. That's what it boils down to. Like when I've grown, like I said, when I've grown in the maturity of in my emotions, the trust that I had for people, the trust that I have for myself, meaning that whatever somebody give me something, if they give me something that's dearest, that's just us. You know what I mean? And I'm like an open book for allow whatever you need to bring to the table, allow it in, and I'm gonna take it in, and I'm gonna put it in a safe that's bulletproof. You know what I mean? Nobody won't be able to get to this. Nobody won't be able to see it. I'm loyal when it comes to other people's emotions, and you can take on so many emotions to where you begin to wear that and not realize
you ain't even come from
this not even mine. And I had to understand, like, where is this emotion coming from? You know what I mean? And then whatever emotion that is, you gotta be so observant. You gotta be self-aware. Like, okay, where is this coming from? Because again, I'm married, so it's not coming from my wife. And me and my wife we would talk about it, and you're like, yo, babe, you good? You know what I mean? Like, what's going on? And sometimes I'm like, I don't know, but I want to let you know it's not you. I got you because that's the person I'm accountable to. So it's not you, but let me figure out where it's coming from. You know what I mean? So
that's big, and that's to be transparent. Truth, I fear that sometimes. The fact that you can be with some, and it's like emotion might come up onto you, and you can't even explain what it might be. And now that person is looking at you like, how can I help something that we don't even know the root of? You know what I'm saying? So those type of things, I think more so now more than ever, I've gotten better in it, and to understand it more, and to be willing to deal with it. But it definitely was a fear of mine at a point in time. Like I applaud anybody who's married for just being married, period. It's a beautiful thing, to have a companion, to be with somebody, to have and to hold. Sometimes I think about those things like, man, what is it like on that side in that type of sense? Like, it's all peaches and cream. I ain't talking about the pictures. I'm not talking about everything like that, but like it's so much, and it just lead me to ask, like, how do you deal with like emotionally charged situations?
And that's a good question. So depending on what the situation is, I always go back to self. I always go back to self. Whatever I'm dealing with, it comes in the house, not intentionally, but whatever you wearing, you bring all that in the house. It may shift an atmosphere. My wife always talked about, like, babe, whatever you dealing with, it affects me. Why? Because we're one. You know what I mean? And I don't want anything to disrupt my union. I don't want anything to disrupt the institution of what I'm in covenant with. So how I deal with things is I have to come to a calmness in myself, so I can have the understanding of how to deal with something that may be so big that may attack the area of my emotions. For instance, finances. How do I handle financial situations? How do I handle how do I handle difficult moments in regards to finances? Well, I had to realize what's the cycle that has been repeated? Why am I still in a financial situation? When it came down to finances, because I didn't really have an understanding of finances, I would really react out of anger. I'm like, man, I'm losing, and now I'm working, and it's leaving. I didn't really have an understanding of how to budget, and to be honest, my wife is good at that. You know what I mean? And because the man traditionally is supposed to be that person, it's like, ooh, that puts a dampening on your identity as the head of the house. Like, man, she got the good credit. She got she got all the money in the bank. She's good with money. She's able to handle. But as a man, I'm supposed to be the leader. I'm supposed to have this too. And I had to realize it's okay. This is my help me. She's gonna show me the way. Not to say, and it's not about the competition of how I handle the emotion. It's about I want to come to an emotional security in regards to my finances. So now I became confident in the area of my finances, even if I may not have, but I have to understand, like, okay, I don't have to lack emotionally in regards to the area. So that's just one instance of how I deal with emotionally charged things, situations.
Before, I always look at my life as like before and now. If it's emotionally charged, I ain't gonna lie, I have been a bit impulsive. I have been a bit impulsive, just jumping into situations. What's going on? What's happening? What we doing? What happened? And I just had to realize, like, where was that leading me down? And I'm not saying I perfected that trait to this day, because I'm definitely not perfect, but I just live more in purpose. But what I've just come to a realization, like, I have to think about these things. I can still be emotionally charged, but walk into situations with a calm, wise mind. So I think I had to talk to myself and really be like, yo, you gotta level up. You gotta get to a place where we can't be doing this. We can't do the same thing and expect different results. That's insanity. Yeah. So I had to figure out something different so I can have a different result. I say that because a lot of the times I will go into situations with people or in places in high emotion. It wouldn't end the right way. It just wouldn't. If it was with people close to me and near and dear, they will appreciate and love the fact that I care that much to be this emotionally involved. But even that gets overshadowed by how big I take it. So I just had to realize, like, man, I gotta utilize some wisdom. I gotta come to somewhere in my. I have to check my heart. I have to check my mind. I have to come to a place of peace so I can really be able to get to a place. But
so depression has been really big for everybody. It carries so much weight in the generation because it is an emotion, and anxiety and worry stems from depression. So at what point in time can you remember you've dealt with depression? And I know it's heavy. That's a heavy topic. It's a heavy topic, and you're going to be able to tap into things, but
this year, I think, who I am. I choose optimism. I choose to be optimistic, like, because I'm more of where there's a will, there's a way. Let's do it. We can figure it out. Let's come up with something. But I think this year was the first time where I was at a place where I really didn't know who to turn to. My safe places has started to become dangerous for me. So I felt, and I just found myself in a depression, man. I would go home and I would just lay down. I didn't want to work out. I didn't want to, I didn't want to hang around. I didn't want to go chill. I didn't want to go have fun. I literally came into this year on crutches, and physically I was on crutches, and mentally I felt on crutches, and emotionally I was in a hospital bed. So I really was at a place where I just felt paralyzed in more places than not. Like it was very tough for me, and I had to get to a place where, thank God for good community. Thank God for good community. You the average of who you around. So with people around me being able to know me and uplift me, I was able to really tap into something I never really knew I had, another level of myself. You know, I live my life a lot of the times on edge because I always want to move forward. I always want to grow. I always want to get better. If you know me, you know I just want to grow, man. I just want growth. I just want to be better because I understand I'm this imperfect being. So I was already living on edge. So when I got depressed, it's like being on edge and depressed at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
That's not a good mix.
Yeah.
You know. So I just thank God for good community, being able to come out of that and get to a place where now I can look back and chuckle about it, speak on it, and not have to relive it in whole.
Mm-hmm.
So so depression, what what has that been for you? When was that? Like, how did you pinpoint that?
Man, so I believe my depression, I was in the depressed state for years, and I didn't realize it. I didn't have the language for it, but I would, I want to say about 3 years ago, three and a half years ago, I was telling my wife, like, yo, I'm in this low place. You know what I mean? And I'm like, I don't know why I'm in this low place. As I begin to dissect certain things, as I begin to reflect, I realized my depression came from living a life of regret. And the things that I know that I couldn't change, that I had to grow through, I had to just come out of. But community helped me totally. And I still had to go home and may have dealt with that stuff, but I was able to remember the encouraging words of my brotherhood. I was able to remember, being lifted up for my wife, for my mom, and that's what I had, because an encouraging word makes the heart glad. So by my heart being glad, I didn't have to just stand on things that was keeping me in a low place, and then I had to just get up off my feet and move forward. You know what I mean? I had to do something and not just sit there and sulk in that place. As men, and this is the last thing I want to be able to us to get across. As men, how can we better communicate our emotions to our peers and loved ones, and even more?
Sheesh. By being transparent, really, but really being honest, not just with them, but with ourselves. Because sometimes the things that we tell them ain't really the things that's going on, and a fraction of the truth is not the truth at all. So, we have to do some self-reflection first. We got to get to that place where what's really bugging you, and dig. Mm-hmm. And dig. Let's find it. The only way to find the root is if you dig. Mm-hmm. And it's not just with plants. So to dig, find a root of what's going on after it's revealed to you. Reveal it to somebody you trust. It doesn't have to be everybody in a whole, but reveal it to them and really work it through and talk it through with them. It's tough. I can never say this is a type of thing that's gonna start easy because it's usually so deep. The deep things don't start easy. But as men, we have to come to place. The best thing is to come to a place of honesty and transparency with ourselves before we try to do it with somebody else, because that's what really crutches us. Yeah. So what do you think we can do?
I'd actually definitely agree with that. You got to find that one that maybe know more than you, and that who's going to be able to help you and get the counsel that you need. Because again, you may not know, but again, you have to be honest with self. Everything comes to a point of self, and you don't have to be in fear of being honest with the things that you're dealing with, because only you know what you're dealing with. Only you know. So you don't have to dress it up for somebody else, because you trying to dress up something for somebody else, they're only gonna give you based off what you giving them, and that's what it has to come down to. Be honest with self, finding that person that you trust and who's going to be able to help you. And then when you come to the place of confidently giving it all out, then you don't have no problem sharing with other people who's dealing with the same thing, because you know how you was able to get to that place and find that one person.
That's good.
So
Yeah, man. Emotions is such a big thing. It's such a deep thing. It's such a precious thing. It's something that we as men we have to talk about more.
Yeah.
It's not weak. You know, I don't. We don't ask for help because we weak. We ask for help because we want to remain strong. And it goes for everything, just with emotions. So, thank you guys for tuning in. Like, share, and subscribe. This is Truth and Transparency. Next episode, we getting into something real
tuned.
big.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned for what that may be. We thank you, and we'll see you next time.